Hello, Dr. Brett Spradlin here at Divine Design Natural Health, and we have a class tonight. We have an event that we are going to get into, but first, I want you to hear from our studio audience. They're ravenous Vikings, and they are loud. Let's get right into this. You know, we do not advertise for good reason, and everything that we do here is friend and family, word of mouth, referral, basically. And these, you know, if somebody's not going to come to a free class, you think they're going to come to a paid visit? Not quite. So that's why we do this. We want to educate people because our take on things is the whole reason people are sick is because they're not educated. My people perish for lack of what? Knowledge. Not my people perish for lack of drugs, or my people perish for lack of vaccines, or my people perish for lack of imaging centers. It's my people perish for lack of knowledge because people don't know what's killing them. They think it's a virus. They think, uh-oh. Oh, kill your phones, by the way. No, I don't think so. If it was, I'll take you out in the parking lot afterwards. But yeah, make sure you kill your phones or I'll do it for you. And with a sledgehammer. No, just kidding. But people think it's a virus. People think it's genetics. People think it's bugs and bacteria are killing them. And then they trick you and they get you to roll up your sleeve, right? So my people perish for lack of knowledge. So what do? We teach here because that is the only way we're going to set you free. That is the only way you're going to learn how to get out of the system. So just take that for what it is. Most of our patients here are medical. What does that tell you? Most of them are from the dental industry, or most of them, you know, work in other doctors' offices or nurses. They work in hospitals. So most of our patients here, if you were to do a survey of, hey, what do you do for a living? What do you do for a living? If you were to write it all down, most check marks would be in the medical field. So let that sink in for a minute. And one other little announcement just for you guys and everybody out there. We were a badge of honor occurred like last year sometime. We got booted off of YouTube for telling the truth. Loved it. We celebrated. I don't know how we're not kicked off Facebook, but we'll milk that cow until it keels over. We then moved over all of our stuff to BitChute and Rumble. And I know BitChute and Rumble are hard to navigate and very hard to find things, but we just recently added a lot of our stuff to two other platforms. One is called Brighteon and one is called Odyssey. So those are never going to go anywhere. Will never be censored. So you can feel free to find us there. Brighteon, Odyssey, Rumble, and BitChute. You can pretty much go right there and type in, go to Brighteon and Odyssey, much better search features. And you can just type in Divine Design, Land of the Free, Home of the Crazed, or just search for the class you're looking for. An even better way to do it is to go right here to go to our website and go to the patient info tab and go to videos. I don't know if that's easy for you to show, Dante, but you can go right to the patient info tab, go to videos, and it'll show you links to every video will have links. BitChute, Rumble, Brighteon, Odyssey. If you do get that up, man, let me know. If you've got other crap going on, I get it. But I want to show you this little illustration so that you can plug this in. Let me know if that goes up there, will you? But I want to show you this little illustration that is so simple. This right here will be one of the most important things you will ever learn about your own healthcare. Short little demonstration, please. Put a disease, any disease, up here. Then you have organ dysfunction, or nutritional deficiency. It's a triangle. You have an organ dysfunction, it's going to cause a disease. If you have a nutritional deficiency, it's going to cause a disease. Take that one step further and say nutritional deficiency is too little good stuff or too much bad stuff. What would be an example of bad stuff? Oh, I don't know, talcum powder with asbestos in it, made by the same company that made the vaccines, by the way, one of the companies that just got booted. But a nutritional deficiency could be too little good stuff. You don't have enough vitamin A, B, C, D, E, F, G. Or it could be too much bad stuff. So you've got too much arsenic or lead, or hey, your wife poisoned your coffee. So you're having nutritional deficiencies can then cause organ dysfunctions, right? Ask a diabetic. What organ is dysfunctioning in a diabetic? Pancreas. If you have Alzheimer's, what organ is dysfunctioning in Alzheimer's? Brain. So that there's a nutritional deficiency that's causing an organ dysfunction, and there's an organ dysfunction causing a nutritional deficiency, which then add up to a disease, right? If I put rheumatoid arthritis up here, what organ dysfunction is happening? Joints, right? Is a nutritional dysfunction or a deficiency causing the joints to rot away earlier? Not enough good stuff, so the joints are rotting away. Or you've got a bunch of heavy metals, toxins, chemicals, all kinds of stuff that are gathering in the joints, right? Causing organ dysfunction, leading to a diagnosis, ICD-9 or 10 code, of rheumatoid arthritis so that your insurance company can be billed. Does that make sense? That right there you will never see. No doctor will show you that, but that's how it works. That's the simplicity of it. So if you know how to reverse engineer that, then that little thing that I showed you guys off camera before, the 4-pillar thing that we do, if you know how to reverse engineer that puny little triangle into 4 pillars, then you can fix everything. Does that make sense? Nothing that walks in this door freaks us out. So I just say that because we're going to talk about a lot of diseases. I will point to this and you'll know. We'll come back to this. So let's get started. Check this out. Slide number 1. The most evil substance in the world. It kills more people than anything. It's subsidized by your government. Every farmer, every crop that we ever planted back home pours into this, everything. Subsidized by your government. Your kids are eating it. You're eating it. It's in every vending machine. It's in every cafeteria. It's in everything. We'll get to it. Next slide. Your disease or dysfunction is likely caused by the most evil substance in the world. The most evil it's not heroin, it's not crack, it's not any other government-made thing that's meant to kill you. It is completely available in every store shelf and at every convenience store in this nation. If you study disease, you'll always find disease, right? If you study health, you'll always find health. That's why I don't study diseases. People come to me and say, hey, I've got this disease that only 2 people in the whole world know anything about. I go, well, you're screwed. No, I'm just kidding. I don't say that. I don't say that. I say, well, this sounds like the people who are studying this stuff are studying too much disease and not enough health. If there are only 2 people in the world that know anything about this thing, they're an expert, and X could mean anything, and a spurt is just a drip under pressure, right? They're an expert in the disease. Heard a pastor say that years ago, and it stuck with me. Pathology does not teach you how to fix the body. It doesn't matter how you name it, stage it, grade it, feed it, pet it, water it, call it George. It doesn't matter what your pathology is. Pathology, study of disease. It has nothing to do with walking a path. It's pathological, like pathological liars. You've heard that term? Pathological liars. It's a disease of lying. They can't do anything else. They speak their native language, right? Your body doesn't care what your disease is called. The level, the stage, the grade, the elevator ride it took, what floor it got off on. Your body doesn't care. Your body also doesn't care about the education of your doctor, me included. Your body does not care how many letters I have after my name or how long I went to school. Your body doesn't care if well, my doctor is one of the best surgeons at Mayo Clinic. Well, then why are you here? Your body doesn't care. Your body doesn't care. The other thing your body doesn't care about, check that one out. It doesn't care for drugs or vaccines. Just remember that as we go through this. Next. Common misconceptions and questions that we will address in this 4-hour-long class. Just kidding. My doctors just can't figure out my blood sugar. Raise your hand if you've ever heard somebody say that. Every hand in this room should go up. Next. I'm always tired around late morning. Have you ever said that? Next. I'll die without bread. I've heard that every day for the last 10 years. What am I going to do? Can't live without my bread. I get all my nutrition from juicing. I've heard that frequently. Next. What are acceptable natural sweeteners? I hear that one all the time. Next. What about stevia? We'll answer all these questions. Next. My nutrition is fine. I already eat healthy. But you're half blind. You're tired all the time. You haven't pooped in 3 days. Your nails are falling off your body. Your hair's breaking. Your skin looks like a cadaver, and you can't sleep. But you eat healthy. That's impossible. You know that, right? That's totally impossible. It is impossible for somebody who is sick to be eating healthy, and it's impossible for somebody who is eating not healthy to be well, right? Next. Now, so you have to define the definition. You have to define what is healthy. Well, I'm vegan, I'm vegetarian. Well, that's not healthy. I'll show you why. Next. I eat all the time, and I never feel full. I hear that frequently. Next. I drink diet soft drinks to lose weight and stay healthy. We'll talk about that. Very little, but we'll talk about that because I don't like even bringing up the whole artificial sweetener thing. Next. I do fruit smoothies instead of soft drinks. I hear that frequently. Right here, fruit smoothies, I want you to think. When people first start getting healthy, what is the first thing they do? They do a smoothie. What's in the smoothie? 5 apples, 27 strawberries, 30 grapes, half a pineapple, 2.5 mango, all the stuff that's what? High in sugar. High in sugar. Then they're high as a kite. They drink half of it. They're high as a kite, and then they crash, and they have no idea. And then they go say this, my doctors just can't figure out my blood sugar. But I'm eating healthy. It's all fruits. Define healthy. See? Next. This is the South. Oh, wait, hold on. Back up. Rewind that. Edit. Hold on. Okay, go ahead. This is the South. I have to have my sweet tea. I know it's the South. I'm fully aware of this. Next. I have a problem with Dr. Pepper. Everybody's laughing. You've heard this. Next. I'll get my electrolytes from Gatorade. Oh, my goodness. You've watched too much TV, my friend. Next. I don't eat white bread anymore. I replaced it with Ezekiel bread. You know you've said that. You know half of you in this room have said that. Next. I only eat whole grain pasta. Oh, yeah, that makes it good because the TV said to eat whole grain and not white bread. So we got to eat whole grain. Next. My kids are picky. They won't eat vegetables. So does that sound familiar? Any of those? Next. I'm a vegetarian vegan. Can't figure out why I'm so unhealthy. Happens on a regular basis. We get emails, we get phone calls. I'm vegetarian and I can't figure out why I'm unhealthy. My skin's falling off. I can't poo. I can't think. I'm depressed. And are you willing to change your diet? Well, no, I'm a vegetarian. Well, then you're not willing to change, right? We did a whole class on that. You can look back at it. It's called The Truth About Vegetarianism. It's a mystery speaker panel discussion. Just look on our website. Patient info, video tab. Scroll down, you'll see it. Next. We don't do cereal. Now we do quinoa oats and einkorn. Don't let me forget about those, by the way. All right. Do some of these sound familiar? How many of you want to know answers to any of these questions or problems, right? These are your family members. Don't just think of this for you. You should be writing stuff down because you or a friend or a family member or a colleague or somebody at church, you're going to hear this from people. So how do you fix it? Half of these people, this is the South, I have to have my sweet tea. They're diabetic, they're dragging an oxygen tank, they're killing themselves, they don't know it. Now, when you explain it to them, they may or may not want to change. That's a different story. But you're going to hear this, so don't think of this just for you. Think of it for not just your aunts and uncles and grandparents and siblings. Think of it for your kids and grandkids. Are the kids sicker now or healthier than they were 10 years ago? Every single person in this room knows they're sicker. Look at your grandkids. That's all I need to say. Look at your grandkids. And when we do a class on kids, nobody shows up. We do a class on women, the women show up. We do a class on kids. Well, I don't think we've ever done a men's class for obvious reasons. We do a kids class. We never do a men's class. I've never done a men's class. 10 years, never done a men's class. Kids class, you do a kids class, people say, well, my kids are grown. Do your kids plan on making grandkids for you? Well, yeah. Then it stops right there, right? It's just, we only think this far, no more, right? So next, just remember, you're going to hear some of these questions. How do I know? Because every Easter, Christmas, Thanksgiving, July 4th, people come in afterwards and they say, I've gotten so healthy, I hadn't seen my family or relatives in like a few months, and I go back and I'm eating healthy, and what's the first thing that person tells me? After all these holidays, what do I hear? Somebody in their family came down on them, right? Somebody in their family came against them, made fun of them, called them out in front of a group of people, like, oh, you're just eating healthy now. Oh, you're too good to eat our cake. You're going to hear it. You're going to hear it. What is the most evil substance? Right there, sugar. Sugar has become so prevalent in our society that if you removed all the items containing it from supermarket shelves, less than 20% of the items would remain. Picture, walk in the supermarket. Outside, on the sign, it says the name of the store, whatever, Cook's, Publix, whatever, and it says three words under it: food and pharmacy. Always, always, always. So we put drugs on the same level as food. Welcome to America, right? It's made its way so pervasively into our minds. But walk in and look, what's the first stuff right when you walk in? Come on. Cakes and pies, baked stuff, bread, right? How far do you have to walk to get milk or eggs?
Way in the back.
Opposite corner of the county. Far, far, far. They plan it like that for a reason. But all the stuff in the middle aisles, bags, cans, boxes, wrappers, garbage, crap, food-like substances that do not rot. Think all of the school cafeterias, the vending machines, the microwave meals. Think of the big box stuff like Costco, Sam's, Walmart, all the fast food stuff. We'll have a slide here for you to relearn all of the names of the fast food restaurants. It's coming up. Sugar's global trade, 50 billion. That stat is probably 10 years old. It's probably 3 times that now. If it's in a wrapper bag, can, or a box, it is what? Say those words. It's processed sugar. If it's in any of that stuff, it's processed sugar. I can assure you. I can assure you. Now, there are exceptions to the rule, but for the most part, all of this stuff that you're buying, packaged and canned and shipped to you from miles and miles away, cannot rot. An animal probably wouldn't eat it, including bugs and, well, most insects would stay away from some of the stuff that you're eating. Okay? So, who cares? Well, look at this. A few diseases that would likely not exist if this menace to society was completely eliminated. So let's put all of these in that top part of that diagram over there. Let's go. Cancer, heart disease, diabetes, hypertension. Stop right there. Those are the 4 things right there, the top 4 things that people in the United States go to doctor's offices for. Those are the top 4 things. The only thing missing out of the top 5 is strokes. And it has a lot to do with strokes too. But if we could get rid of just one of these, that one right there, how much would the healthcare industry change overnight? When you go to your oncologist, what is on the table? I've never been to an oncologist. Somebody tell me. You go to the front. What's on the front desk? I've heard it many times. I've heard it many times. A little bowl of candy. I've never been to one. Heart disease. How could sugar affect your heart disease? We'll get to that. How could sugar affect diabetes? Well, duh. But when diabetics come in here, the first thing they tell me is doctors cannot figure out my blood sugar. Where does your blood sugar come from? See? Right there. See? There's dead silence. No one knows. I'll ask it again. Think now. Where does your blood sugar come from? What you eat. Where else is it going to come from? Doctor can't figure out your blood sugar? Come on, man. Come on. Right? Hypertension. Could sugar affect your heart and your blood vessels? It does. We'll get to that. Let's continue. Now remember, with blood vessels, pancreas, heart, whatever, wherever the cancer is, put those diseases right here. There's your organ dysfunction. You got multiple myeloma, guess what? Bone cancer, right? You got brain cancer, guess what? You got cancer, organ dysfunction, brain. Nutritional deficiency, same thing. Not enough good, too much bad. Is sugar good or bad? Everybody knows. So if you've got too much bad, guess what? If you got too much sugar, guess what? You're going to, these right here. Keep going. So obesity, oh, you'll love that one once we get to that. Obesity. Next, Alzheimer's. What? Another name for it? Type 3 diabetes. Alzheimer's. Type 3 diabetes. So when people come to me and they say, I eat healthy. No, you do not. You eat what you think is healthy according to what you were told by celebrities on television, magazines, and flawed, pharmaceutically financed nutritional education in grade school, high school, college. That's what you're eating according to. Next. Digestive issues. I don't know how many Crohn's, IBS, constipation, long-term, people with their guts cut out, all kinds of stuff. Patients I've had where their gastroenterologist, award-winning gastroenterologist from Mayo Clinic, Johns Hopkins, or Vanderbilt, told them that their diet had nothing to do with their digestive issues. I mean, I might have to go back and review my anatomy, but I'm pretty sure everything you eat goes through your intestines. So how could it be possible that this doctorate-trained, highly educated person would say that everything you eat doesn't affect your intestines, your disease state? It's genetic. It's the only thing they can say. It's genetic. Mental issues. Got a whole class on this one. And if you want to know more about this, go back and watch the good versus fad deal that we did about a month ago. If you want to know more about the mental health, go back and watch one called Land of the Free, Home of the Crazed. You will understand how mental issues are completely out of control. And you could, you could eliminate most of these, including that, in your grandkids and your kids. Eliminate most of this crap by getting rid of this right here. People think that's genetic too. You've been lied to. What else could we get rid of? These things would not exist. What's on your dentist's front desk before you walk out the door? Candy. Don't tell me these people don't know this. They're not stupid, right? If cavities went away, dentists would go out of business, right? So you think they're putting fluoride in the water for your health? If we got rid of cavities, the dentists would be having they'd protest, right? Okay. Dental issues, so cavities, root canals, abscesses. How do I know that these would be eliminated if we got rid of this nonsense? Because I see it every day. That's what we do here. Oh, this is getting good. Oh, this is getting good. Okay. Gout, that's one too. I just threw that in there because, I needed it to look even. Do you see a pattern in the list above? What's the pattern? Come on. Nutrition, yes. Yeah. But even beyond that, do you ever see just one of these in isolation? Not really. So don't they travel in packs? You'll see a diabetic who had cancer twice. They've got high blood pressure, and they're a little bit overweight, right? Starting to lose their memory. You'll see young people with Crohn's, and they're already starting to have some of this going on. You'll see young people with Crohn's, and they've got all these, right? So they're not just isolated. It shows you that they're not genetic, doesn't it? That's another way you know it's not just mom and dad, because they travel in packs. Somebody has heart disease, they got a mitral valve prolapse, got a whole class on heart. You want to know where a mitral valve prolapse comes from? And you want to understand, why all the heart disease, number one killer in the world, second only to abortion, I should say. But the number one killer here, the heart is falling apart because it doesn't have the right materials. Got a whole class on heart disease. It's called We Heart You Too. And that was back in February. Go to the website, check it out. So do you see a pattern? Yeah, the pattern is they all go together. If people have one of these, they'll usually get another one, right? How many times do you see somebody with diabetes that doesn't have high blood pressure, hypertension? It's crazy. Nobody's going to tell you this, though. One leads to another. Now, here's a little quote for you, and then we'll take a short commercial break for Amanda to hop up here and read some wonderful testimonials. Here's a little quote of, I don't know who this dude is, but it makes sense. Americans, they may be living longer, but they don't know their names. Your health span is very different than your lifespan. If you're in a nursing home, what does it matter that you're living to be 85 years old? You're on a feeding tube and you're on 12 medications and you don't know who you are, right? So think about that. Your health span is very different than your lifespan. Commercial break. Amanda, come on up. Yay.
All right, got a great testimonial to start us off here. This patient says, I used to never sleep through the night. I always had trouble falling asleep and would wake up every single night around 3 o'clock in the morning. After taking the recommended supplements, I now fall asleep easily and stay asleep the entire night through.
How nice. Yay. You think they're going to heal better if they sleep? Huh, interesting. How are they going to sleep without a CPAP strapped to their face like Darth Vader? Easily. Let's laugh. Mean what you say what you mean. What if I told you eating healthy is actually eating normally? No, come on. Next. Did you know? Here it is. Sugar's 8 times as addictive as cocaine. What's interesting is while coke and heroin activate only one spot for pleasure in your brain, sugar lights up the brain like a pinball machine. Most evil substance in the world? It's not those, it's that one. More money comes from that one than all the others combined. Next. Drinking one diet drink a day can triple your risk of dementia and strokes. Is anybody telling the old folks this? We'll talk about it here in a minute. You'll see where aspartame came from. Next. I can't stand drug addicts. How much sugar do you eat a day? Yeah. Pastors in the pulpits talking about dudes burning plants, but they're on more drugs and they're eating more sugar every day than the kids in the parking lot burning a plant. Drives me nuts. It's crazy. Next. Eat the rainbow. You want to eat red for heart, you want to eat white for immunity, you want to eat yellow for skin, you want to eat green for cleansing, you want to eat orange for inflammation, and Epstein didn't kill himself. Oh, next. You don't need to write that down. That was just, don't write that part down. Condensed history of sugar. Here it is. This will tell you the whole thing you need to know. Check this out. New Guinea, in about, they say 8,000 BC, we know better. It was a myth that humans came about after man made love to a stalk of sugarcane. That tells you everything you need to know. Isn't that nuts? By trade routes, it made its way to India. 12th century Europe, it was a status symbol for royalty, sugar was. That's how they all got fat. Turn of the 20th century, it was a novelty to have sugar for a cup of tea, right? Next. In 55, movies came on the scene. Television advertising propagated refined, processed foods. 1955, how long ago? 65 years ago, right? When did all this cancer and heart disease and stroke and diabetes and hypertension and all this stuff, when did everybody start getting diagnosed with these 5 things? That's a conspiracy theory. Next. September 23rd, 1955. Some of you might remember this. Eisenhower had a heart attack. I saw footage of it and stuff like that. I wasn't there. I heard about it. I wasn't there. And heart disease was thrust into the public spotlight. It was a perfect opportunity for these 2 guys to war it out. Ancel Keys, he was a U.S. scientist, and he said, it's got to be the fat. And then this other guy, John Yudkin, is a British doctor, and he said, it's got to be the sugar. Right? Well, how did that work out? Let's see. In 65, there's a company called GD Searle. There was a researcher that they were creating biochemical warfare toxins. And a researcher licked his finger and discovered aspartame. He said, holy cow, this stuff's sweet. This is sweeter than sugar. We can make a lot of money because it costs way too much to import sugar from other countries. What if we replaced sugar with this stuff? Yeah, it might kill some people, but if we just do it in small amounts, it won't kill them as fast. So that was in 65. Next. 70s, the U.S. government reviewed the safety of sugar for the first time, right? Sugar industry paid the scientists, hired a public relations firm, and released a press report that said, scientists dispel sugar fears. This report basically exonerated sugar, and the world followed suit. What happened next? Ancel Keys won out. Sugar was cleared. Fat was vilified. A low-fat movement started back in the 70s, and ever since then, you've had women with thyroid problems, hormone problems, bone density problems, dudes that can't get it up, and you've got an entire industry of Lipitor, statin drugs. We've got to get rid of the fat. Don't eat animals. Here, eat margarine, right? Eat man-made laboratory goop instead of eating the saturated fats of the plants and the animals and the fish that God created. Eat all this crap that some atheist created in a laboratory. And we're wondering why cancer, heart disease, stroke, diabetes, hypertension, all this other stuff has been going out of control, and everybody's been eating low fat, low sugar, no sugar for 50 years. And you're wondering why people are dying in hospice at 40 years old. Next. It's crazy. In 1983, the artificial sweetener aspartame is introduced to the U.S. Who was the president of GD Searle during aspartame's approval? Does that name look familiar? Sure does. Next. Crazy, isn't it? And then in the 1980s and 90s, remember that Coke versus Pepsi war that was going on? Choice of a new generation, all that stuff. So I mean, it was everywhere all the time. People doing blind taste tests and stuff like that. Now, keep in mind that there was this thing around 1984, 1985, where scientists and all these medical doctors and everybody was trying to figure out why was there such an uptick, I should say, or an influx of brain tumors. 1983, 1984, an influx of brain tumors. Obesity, cancer, heart disease, everything. That's when all these diseases that we just talked about, obesity, cancer, heart disease, stroke, diabetes, hypertension, all that crap, started taking over the world. Oncology centers everywhere, children's cancer hospitals everywhere. Where did it all come from? Why does everybody have hypertension and why is everybody having strokes? Must be genetics. Must be the COVID virus, right? Must be long COVID. Other thing, there are 41 states currently, this is the best stat I could find, in the US, where the obesity rates are higher than 25%. 25% of the population obese. How many of them morbidly obese? Who knows? But that was a good little stat. So overall, what I'm trying to say is America is overfed, but at the same time, ironically, they're undernourished. And so they're eating garbage food. They're going back to eat more garbage food because their brain is telling them, hey, you didn't get any nutrition with that bag of Doritos and 2 liter of Mountain Dew. So you got to go back and eat more because, man, I got to have some vitamin A and B and C and D and G. I got to live. I got to replace my heart and my lungs and my kidneys, right? So your body, your brain is going to wake you up at 3 o'clock in the morning to go downstairs and eat because you didn't get any nutrition for dinner. And it cycle, right? How your body regenerates. Here is next to that little diagram right there, here's the take-home message. This is it right here. You can digest only 3 things. Understand this. This is so simple, no one's going to tell you. We did the class a few weeks ago on good versus fad. We absolutely decimated every fad diet out there, and we told you you don't have to eat a fad diet when you come here. You don't have to do much of anything. You don't have to count grams, carbs, calories. This is all you got to do. This is it right here. You can digest 3 things, but you are only made of 2. You can digest fats, you can digest proteins, or you can digest carbohydrates. Period. End of story. Drop the mic, walk off stage, turn around, balance on your head. Those are the only 3 things that you can eat, right? I mean, you could eat wood chips, you could eat concrete, I guess. But what I'm saying is you can only digest those 3 things. Fats are like, butter, avocados, nuts, proteins, eggs, meat, fish. Everybody knows this. Carbohydrates, what are carbohydrates? Well, this is the most misunderstood thing right here. You can eat 3 things, but your body is only made of 2. Which ones are your body made of? What is your body made of? No. Water? No. Water's not even, no. Look at the thing. What is your body made of? You can digest 3, but you're only made of 2. Which of those 2 is your body made of? Fats and proteins. What is the one thing that everybody's eating too much of out of those 3? Carbs. Do you see the problem? That is the simplicity of all of those diseases, the problems, the hospitals, the chemos, the cancer, all of it. That is the problem. That is the problem that no one's going to tell you. Right here. That's it. Take this one step further. Complex carbs, vegetables, fruits, stuff like that. Think good stuff. Think complex stuff. Then, and this is way overcomplicated. This is way oversimplified. But just think this way. Just think the complex stuff. Think like vegetables and fruits. Think the simple crap, the dude that man can make in a laboratory. All this crap. Grains, breads, cakes, candy, pasta, noodles, pizza, donuts, cereals, oats, bagels, alcohol. What do American kids eat? Grains, breads, cakes, candy, pasta, noodles, pizza, donuts, cereals, oats, bagels. Get the point? It's unbelievable. It's unbelievable. We'll do a little math here in a second, and I'll show you what I mean. So they turn to glucose and are burned for energy or stored for fat. It's that simple. So there's a couple different types of simple sugars. Here they are. Glucose, very simple sugar molecule. It makes up a lot of stuff. Next. You can just click through all these, man. Lactose, cheese, milk, yogurt. No, you're not lactose intolerant. That's a lie, too. We can get to that later. Fructose, very rare in nature, fructose. You don't see a whole lot of fructose out there in plants. Next. Sucrose is table sugar, and sucrose is just 2 molecules. It's a molecule of glucose and a molecule of fructose. Keep that in mind. We'll get to that in a minute. What happens to fructose when you take it into your body? We'll get there in just a minute. So here's another key that people do not understand. I will prove to you that you do not need carbohydrates to survive. Check this out. Many are eating, fats. Essential means you got to get it from other sources. Your body can't make it. Okay, very simple. This is way oversimplified, but just keep it simple. Keep it simple. Don't let things get out of control, complex. Fats give you essential fatty acids. How many of you have heard that, right? Proteins give you essential amino acids, right? How many have heard that? Okay, have you ever heard of such a thing as essential carbohydrates? They don't exist. They never will. They never have. Very simple. Very, very, very simple. Your body can digest fats into carbohydrates if it needs to, and proteins into carbohydrates if it needs to. Your body will handle it. You don't need to do the keto thing or the paleo thing. You just eat stuff that comes out of the ground and keep it very, very, very simple and very, very vegetable if you can. Many are eating more, snacking more, not feeling full because of decreased amounts of fat and protein, right? We just talked about that. You ready for a little commercial break? Did anybody learn anything right there? Those are two little take-home messages, three little take-home messages that people just don't get. Nobody's told them the simplicity of it because they're too busy counting grams and carbs, right? Okay, come on up.
All right, so this patient says, before coming to Divine Design, I woke up with a headache 4 to 5 times per week for many years. I can't imagine going with that for that long. She says, now, by the second week of taking my nutritional supplements, I had 0 headaches that week. And after 6 weeks here, I've only had 2 headaches total. Amazing.
Well, there you go. All right. Here we go. This is what a medicine cabinet is supposed to look like. You'd be shocked if you saw some people's medicine cabinet. Just over-the-counter stuff. I don't even have over-the-counter stuff. I don't even have it in my house. Some people have a vision, some have a television. How'd this happen? It wasn't for me watching TV, I'll tell you that. Next. You're not sick, you're being poisoned. Get over it, wake up. These people are killing you and you're paying for it. They're robbing you blind and they love it. That's their job. Next. Inside you there are 2 wolves. I hate the government, LOL, same. Why am I putting this in here? Because it's the government that made you sick. They subsidized all this crap, push it on you with an upside-down food pyramid, put it in your schools, dumb down your kids, and now you don't even know what's up and down, left and right. And the kids don't even know where to pee. Next. Will Biden's Disinformation Governance Board be investigating this? They're putting this out there as healthy. These are the people that are telling you that men can have babies. The same people. Think about how evil this is. Next. I eat healthy. Why am I gaining weight? Here goes. The more calories and fat. Remember we talked about Ansel Keys and John Yudkin? Ansel Keys said, oh, it's got to be the fat. It's got to be the fat. The fat's causing the problem. And John Yudkin said, no, man, it's the sugar. Well, they figured this out, that there's more calories in fat than sugar, so that makes people think don't eat fat because it has more calories. See, people have been counting calories instead of counting chemicals for far too long, right? Medicine's told people for 50 years eating fat makes you fat. Calories from sugar behave very differently, but the food industry makes no delineation. I'll tell you why later on. It's not about calories. It's about the source. So the result is people feel like failures for being fat, and then they hit a gym membership and they take a bunch of weight loss meds, and they feel, and that makes them worse, and then it's just this vicious cycle. A bunch of diet plans, all that crap. Next. What about the, how do you measure this stuff? How much is too much? I'll guarantee you this. Here's the deal. If you were to count your grams of sugar, I don't recommend it. We do food logs. Everybody keeps track of what they eat. They keep track of their bowel movements, their sleep patterns, how much they drink, whole 9 yards. Find a doctor's office that does that. So you're held accountable for what goes in your face hole, right? So people always wonder, how much sugar can I eat? Well, that's the problem. That tells me that you have a problem. You're already seeing how far you can push it. But I guarantee you this, if you just start monitoring how much sugar you eat, you will be stunned. And if you keep your sugar, your grams of sugar under 70, 80, the magic number is 72. 72 grams of sugar, under that, you will lose weight, period. But that's another topic. But a teaspoon of sugar, okay, a teaspoon. Everybody picture a teaspoon in your mind. A whole teaspoon of sugar. Would you just put a whole teaspoon of sugar in your mouth? That'd be pretty heavy duty, wouldn't it? Well, a teaspoon of sugar is 4 grams. in weight. Okay, so that amount, that volume of sugar would weigh about 4 grams. Okay, I know that's metric. I don't know how many ounces that is, but 4 grams is a teaspoon of sugar. Just keep that in mind. Typical American breakfast, what do kids eat? Cereal, yogurt, juice, bagels, toast, all kinds of stuff, right? That would be equivalent to about 22 spoons of sugar. Do the math, 80 grams. So picture your kids sitting there and taking white refined powdered sugar or granulated sugar and doing this 20 times. Okay, that just from here. Those are the people that are telling me I eat healthy. What they mean is they're not starving. That's what they mean. Next. So the simple math about it, if you keep that in mind, a teaspoon's 4 grams. A can of soda, 40 grams. How many teaspoons is that? How many teaspoons is that? So just one can, right? How many people do you know that only have one can? So if you did another can or another 80 grams of sugar, 20 teaspoons, you see the problem? Well, I drink diet. Okay, we'll get there in a minute. Mountain Dew mouth, check this out. There's a condition documented by dentists who give people dentures of Mountain Dew mouth. And if you took a 1.25 liter bottle of Mountain Dew, how many teaspoons of sugar? 148 grams. I told you the magic number, keep it under 72 and you'll start to lose some weight. Is this dude ever going to lose weight? Or he's going to be healthy? Or is he ever going to be healthy, I should say? Oral cavity takes 20 minutes to fully cleanse itself with saliva. When you sip a thing of pop, how long is soda, pop, whatever? I'm from Michigan, so I can say that. So when you sip it, how long does it take you to drink it? A while, right? So you're bathing your oral cavity or your teeth, and people are wondering, why do I have cavities? I don't eat sugar. What they mean is they're not taking hits out of the sugar bowl. But they are taking hits out of the sugar bowl, they just don't know it. Drinking 1 bottle will bathe your teeth. Next. Here's an example. Smoothie King, right down the street, right? These are all over the place. We'll talk more about this. 181 grams of sugar. That's 45 teaspoons of sugar in one drink, right here. And this is, if you go to like smoothieking.com or whatever, and you just look at the mango, pineapple, something, something. I just did a quick search, and here it is, right here. To get the same amount of sugar, 4 peaches, 9 limes, 30 lemons, 30 strawberries. Boom. Taking Coke out of the diet and replacing with fruit smoothies is just as bad. Because when people do smoothies, they're not doing vegetables and protein, like what we teach them, to replace all the crap food, cereal, bagels, toast stuff that they do for breakfast. They're not doing vegetables and proteins. They're doing, when they first get healthy, they start juicing, or they just do a smoothie and they do, pineapple, strawberries, blueberries, grapes, boom, 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 boom. It's all the sweet stuff. That's why they never lose weight and they never get healthy. Next. Here's a quote from Royal Lee, 1938. Check out what this dude was saying 20 years before movies were even invented, right? Look at this. Or before, I should say, drive-in movies, I should say. I quote this all the time. This is great. Candy. All white sugar and its products, and white flour, including its products, such as macaroni, spaghetti, crackers, etc., should be absolutely barred, i.e. eliminated, from the diet of the child. All these are energy-producing foods, ADD, ADHD, that contain no building materials for the body. No fat, no protein. Right there it is, right? 1938. The consequences of their toleration are susceptibility to infections, enlarged tonsils, in which case they will be ripped out, carious teeth, dental cavities, caries, unruly dispositions. Do any kids in the United States have unruly dispositions? Stunted growth, neurological, developmental disorders. Rickets, bone deformities, vitamin D deficiency, maldevelopment, and very often permanent damage to many organs of the body, especially the endocrine glands. Endocrine glands. Endocrine glands. What are your endocrine glands? Well, let's name them. Pituitary, thyroid, adrenals, testes, ovaries. You want to know one of the reasons of the many reasons why so many boys are confused in becoming girls and why so few girls are confused in becoming boys? It's part of it right here. Look what they're eating. That depend on the vitamin supply for their normal function and development. When you have a crappy diet, the first thing that's going to happen is your hormones. Your hormones are going to hit the toilet because they're very susceptible. Permanent damage to many organs of the body, especially the endocrine glands that depend on the vitamin supply for their normal function. If you don't have vitamins, your endocrine glands are not going to function properly. Does that make sense? That's why you have so many problems with the kids, and that's why right now, so many of them are boys that want to be girls and girls that want to be boys. That's it, 1938. 1938. This dude created the world's first multivitamin. To this day, other companies are still trying to crack what he did. Here's another one from 1951. It's one of my favorites. One of the biggest tragedies of human civilization is the precedence of chemical therapy over nutrition. It's a substitution of artificial therapy over nature, of poisons over food, in which we're feeding people poisons in an attempt to correct the reactions of starvation. Cancer, heart disease, stroke, diabetes, all that crap, starvation problems. Nutritional deficiencies that then cause organ dysfunction, which together mount into a disease that your insurance can be billed for with certain codes. Next, what about juicing? Remember this, an apple, yeah, there's all kinds of different apples, different sweetnesses, stuff like that, different sizes, but roughly, apple, 4 teaspoons, 14 grams. When somebody puts 12 apples in their smoothie or their juice, their juicer, do the math. The fiber in apples tells you that you're full. God did not screw up. He made it right. You're supposed to eat the thing, right? Now, a blender can blend it all up and you've got all the stuff there and it's better, easier, simpler. You don't have to sit there and chew it. But a juicer, most juicers will spin out the juice and the juice will run down and then the pulp ends up in the middle, all the vitamins and the fiber and all that, and then you chuck that out. Unless it's a masticating juicer, in which case you might as well just have a blender, right? Juicers remove the fiber, leave only the juice. You consume the sugar, throw away the fiber, but you also must consider the ramifications of genetic engineering on the ratio of sugar to nutrients. Fruits are engineered to be sweeter, so you eat them more, so you buy more. They're not genetically engineering them to make them more nutritious. That has to be said. A lot of people are confused on that. They up the ratio of sugar, which downs the ratio of vitamins and minerals, so the food's getting worse and worse and worse and worse every year. Just like the chemicals that they're spraying are getting worse and worse and worse every year. Next. So what happens to sugar when it enters your body? Very simple, very simple. We'll keep it very simple. We're not going to show diagrams. Here's the cell, and here's insulin, the key, the lock, all that crap. Sucrose enters your body, let's say, and then it splits, remember, into glucose and fructose. This is in a lot of stuff. That's just regular sugar, C6H12O6 type stuff. But fructose, remember, is a 5-carbon ring, and it's primarily not found in nature. It's primarily man-made, right? High fructose corn syrup, it's from corn, high fructose, man-made. Glucose and fructose both make their way to the liver, right? Glucose you can use for energy, or it's stored for later as fat. However, fructose is rapidly turned to fat. So refined, processed, man-made stuff rapidly becomes fat in your body. This is designed. This is not an accident. This is known perfectly. Next. Some stays in the liver of the fructose, some stays in the liver, which leads to an increased risk of diabetes, insulin resistance, fatty liver disease, yada, 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 yada. The list could go on, right? But then fat in the liver is sent out as triglycerides. So you go to the doctor and you get, oh, my triglycerides are high, or my blood sugar is high. The doctors can't figure out why my triglycerides are through the roof and my blood sugar is through the roof and my A1C, hemoglobin A1C. So the fat in the liver is sent out as triglycerides, so that leads to increased weight and heart disease. That's the simplicity of it. Next. What about bread, pasta, noodles, donuts, bagels? All that crap. Bread and pasta leads to increased glucose in the blood when they break down. Because you're going to eat this stuff. Does bread and pasta turn to sugar, fat, or protein in your body? Sugar. So when people say, well, I have to have my bread. Well, we can work on that. You don't have to have your bread. You've been misled, but you don't have to have it. But we can work on you getting away from it, from eating it, massive amounts of it every meal. We can work on that. But the bread and pasta, it gets digested. It increases the glucose in your blood. Glucose in your blood goes up. What happens to insulin? More of it's released, right? So that your blood gets the glucose out of the blood itself and into the cells. Insulin's a key that opens cell membranes for glucose to enter and be used. Insulin tells fat cells to hold on to fat, turns off your fat burning processes. You cannot burn fat when there's increased insulin present to deal with increased sugar. So, diabetics are pumping insulin into their bodies, right? How messed up is that? Isn't that just gasoline on a fire? What should they be doing? Cutting down the sugar that they're eating in the first place. Stopping this. So that this is then stopped, and this will not be as necessary. It's a very simple thing. What is medicine doing? What? Has no one ever thought of this? It's completely backwards, right? And what does insulin do? Turns on your inability to burn fat is amplified, right? And you're just going to get fatter and fatter and fatter, which is why all the diseases we talked about at the very beginning, they go hand in hand and hand in hand. Or I should say, roll, in roll, in roll, in roll. You cannot burn fat where there's increased insulin. Are diabetics pumping insulin in their bodies? Are they ever going to be able to lose weight? Absolutely not. It's impossible. I shouldn't say impossible. Nothing's impossible. But let's take this one step further. Check this out. Burnt sugar becomes glycosylated aminoglycans. Big word, don't worry about it. GAGs, GAGs. Glycosylated aminoglycans means a protein, aminoglycan, with a sugar attached to it. Big giant molecule, right? Don't worry about it. Little tiny sugar molecule, big tiny protein molecule, they put them together, it's a big giant molecule. It's called a GAG, right? When you burn sugar, have you ever got like a creme brulee and they take the little torch and it caramelizes the thing, the sugar on top, and it becomes like, oh, you just had one? Oh, how dare you. Perfect timing. No, but so the creme brulee, that little hard shell on top of it is burnt sugar. Follow me? When you put bread through a toaster, what happens? It burns the sugar, right? When you toast a bagel, what happens to it? It burns the sugar, right? Yeah. See where I'm tracking? Are you tracking with me? So when burnt sugar becomes this, very toxic to your body. Toasted bread creates gags that go down and scrape your arteries. Then what happens? Cholesterol arrives to repair the damage in the scraped arteries and gets blamed for the damage. Then people get diagnosed with high cholesterol, right? And then they're on drugs for the rest of their lives because they have high cholesterol. But cholesterol wasn't there as a start to the problem. Cholesterol was there to fix the problem. So the biggest medical problem in the world right now is this. People eating this crap. Insulin resistance. They eat so much sugar. They eat all kinds of crap that they think, well, it's whole grain bread. Well, it's Ezekiel bread. Well, but they're being tricked. They don't even know that all this stuff is leading to their insulin resistance. Leading health problem in the world today, insulin resistance. How do I know? Oh, here goes. Starving kids in Africa. What do they ship them? What do they ship them? Rice. Rice. Wheat, corn, oats, soy, right? Cheap food. Why aren't they shipping them vegetables? Huh. That'd be too easy, wouldn't it? Receptors on the cell membrane get burnt out, similar to opiate addiction, right? But this is a bigger problem in the world than opiate addiction, isn't it? Quite a problem down here, not to belittle that one, but insulin resistance, that's the biggest problem out there, right? It's crazy. It's crazy. And people know it. Next. This, what I just described, it's population normal. It's those who tell me they eat healthy, and then they spend hours on treadmills tearing their bodies apart to burn off dessert. I'm not making fun of people. I'm just saying this is common. They don't know. How are they going to know if you don't tell them? How are they going to know? They're just going to listen to Dr. Oz on TV and be like, oh yeah, well, I got to burn off my dessert. That's what's happening. They're not eating healthy. Their protein and their fat is falling apart. Then to make things worse, they go hop on a treadmill. They destroy their bodies further, right? And their knees and their backs and their hips are killing them. And they're thinking that they're doing something good to burn off dessert because they just ate 4 pieces of cheesecake. It's horrible, right? And there are people in your family that are suffering from this. For 50 years, people have been told obesity and illness are caused by increased calories and decreased exercise, which implies that anyone overweight is either lazy or greedy. Isn't that horrible? You go to a doctor, puts you on a cholesterol med, puts you on a statin drug, puts you on blood pressure pills, puts you on water pills, puts you on hydrochlorothiazide and all this other garbage, and you say, could I change any of this with my diet? What do you think he says? No, it's all a lot of your problems are genetic. And yeah, you can eat healthy and exercise. Yeah, you could go ahead and start a little bit of that. Yeah, let's do it. Eat healthy and exercise. But that doctor has a beer gut on him that looks like Homer Simpson. So he's telling you to eat healthy and exercise. Okay, next. And I'm not calling out anybody in particular. Just take a look. Take a look through. Go online and look at the headshots of the doctors at your local hospitals. Look at their headshots. Don't look at their body shots. Look at their headshots. Tell me if they look like the picture of health. Next. So here's the fatigue cycle when people come and say, I'm so tired, I can't figure this out. Fatigue, fatigue, fatigue. I cannot get out of bed. I'm looking at losing my job because I'm showing up late. I'm so tired. I can't take the kids to the soccer game. Whatever the case may be, I hear it all. Fatigue, one of the top 6 things that most people come to us regarding is fatigue. Here's the cycle. You eat more sugar, that drives up your insulin. Then you crash from your brain, you need more glucose again. Then your stress hormones get released, like adrenaline, from see how it affects your endocrine system. So your adrenaline, stress hormones like cortisol and adrenaline get released. And then that signals your brain to make you eat sugar again. And then that leads to increased sugar, and then rinse and repeat, rinse and repeat, rinse and repeat, rinse and repeat, day after day, meal after meal, for days, weeks, months, years, and decades. You're wondering why you're 40 years old and you're at the cancer hospital. See, this is so simple, people. It's so easy. We have been tricked from eating stuff out of the ground into eating crap off the back of a truck at a convenience store, right? And everybody's wondering, why is their skin falling apart? Why can't they concentrate? Next. Is my mental health affected by my diet? Well, 100%. Check out Land of the Free, Home of the Crazed. It's a class where you will never look at anxiety, depression, bipolar, manic depressive, PTSD, any of that stuff. You will never look at it the same again because that class will show you that there is no such thing ever documented in human history via CAT scan, MRI, blood lab, genetic testing, nothing that ever substantiates that a chemical imbalance ever existed in a human, ever. I know, you've grown up with it. You've grown up with, oh, she's not fat, she just has a hormone imbalance. You've grown up with, oh, he's not crazy, he just has a chemical imbalance. I get it. I grew up with it too. The blood sugar effects, panic attacks, mood swings, learning disorders, behavioral disorders, mental illness, neurological, you name it. Go through the new patient booklet that we showed you. Look at the 146 reasons sugar is ruining your health. Look through there. I challenge you. Look through there and see how many of those conditions are tied to sugar. There is not one thing in the world that is not tied to sugar. Nutrition deficiency, right? All of these problems describe modern children. Would that be a yes or a yes? Glucose affects mood and fructose affects brain control centers. Remember the opiate thing? This triggers the desire to eat more sugary foods, and addictive behavior just goes and goes and goes. And a high sugar diet visibly shows in baggy eyes, pale skin tone, acne, etc. I can tell you pretty much if somebody's healthy just by looking at them. Their skin tone, their nail beds, their tongue, their eyes, the whites of their eyes, their hair, their skin tone, whether they have wrinkles or not. You can tell what they're eating a lot of times. So is my mental health affected by my diet? 100%. I'll have a few little snippets more of this later on. Next. Here's some proof. Why don't we just dive into one of them right here. Native populations only start getting sick when white man introduce sugar and or alcohol. Notice this. Dialysis goes wild. Diabetes and kidney failure go out of control. But note, these populations know nothing of prisons or asylums. Only civilized societies enjoy those perks. Think of it. They never had prisons or asylums. What did they eat? Plants and animals. Plants, mainly vegetables, and animals, right? They never had any of the problems that you see so prevalent in today's society. Next. What about HFCS? Well, we won't talk much about this because it's kind of depressing, but it adds, let's just say a lot of teaspoons per year to the diet of each American. The primary delivery system is soft drinks. 1 can of soda contains more than 10 teaspoons, we covered that earlier, or 40 grams of sugar, right? That's why we grow so much GMO corn in the U.S., is to make that, and to feed cattle that should be eating grass, but we're feeding them genetically modified corn, and you're wondering why the cattle are all sick and need antibiotics and vaccines. We screwed up the farming, we screwed up the soil. Other options like cane juice crystals, turbinado, agave, brown sugar, fruit juice concentrate, all have the same effect on health. Is there a good sweetener? My question to you is, why do you need a sweetener? Because then you'd have to admit that your taste buds are taken over, right? Next. Oh yeah, commercial break, here goes. Ready? Come on up. Yay, Amanda. I'm gonna erase this.
All right, this is one of our rare male testimonials. This guy says, I threw out my back lifting a 50-pound bag of farm pond fish food out of my truck. I was in so much discomfort and I could not stand up straight. I came into Divine Design, and after just one adjustment, I was completely pain-free. I was able to even do 6 hours of yard work the following day.
Yay. My question to him would be, why would you do yard work? Big mistake. I wanted to move that down. Organ dysfunction, nutritional deficiency. I want to move that down because here, Amanda's going to be putting fat, carbohydrate, and protein from those three things up here in kind of a table format. I want to prove something to you. So, let's meme what we say and say what we meme. I waited for you guys. This is like one of my favorite memes of all time, and I thought for a second there nobody was going to get it. Oh my God. I am engaged in a full frontal assault meme war with the New World Order, and I'm quite addicted to it. Next. Meme wars. Next. The enemy doesn't have to defeat you. All they have to do is distract you. Yeah. Oh, and don't ever do this. Don't ever do 3D glasses at a movie. The red and blue, you don't want to know what it does to your brain. Next. Here is the whole entire thing in one picture. Oh, wow. The whole entire class, boiled down to one meme, one picture, right here. That's it. This is normal now. And now, on top of this, it's celebrated. People are wearing masks, getting experimental gene therapy alterations on top of this. Unbelievable, isn't it? Next. I mean, look at everybody looks so healthy. Look at that. Doesn't exist anymore. It's this. Next.
Amen.
Yeah. Pretty much. Yep. So food exits off of highways are all for cheap and highly processed foods. Just open up that whole page, brother. Here goes. Zaxby's, Subway, McDonald's, Taco Bell, Hardee's, Waffle House, IHOP, Steak and Shake, Little Caesars, White Castle, Dairy Queen, Arby's, Applebee's, Chick-fil-A, Wendy's, Chili's. Yeah, go ahead and laugh. It took me a while. It took me months and months and months to figure all this out. Sonic, Panda Express, Popeyes, Baskin Robbins, Cracker Barrel, KFC, TGI Fridays, Denny's, Checkers, In-N-Out Burger, and Logan's Roadhouse. I made that up, all that. I will claim responsibility for that because I'm driving and I'll just see, man, pull into a town sometime and count how many fast food joints you see. Pull into, like I don't want to pick on anywhere in particular, but like you pull off the Ottawa exit, just drive down that road and count them. It's crazy. So every once in a while, some of these came out of just driving all across the nation in the last 10 years, and when I finally became aware of how bad all the stuff is that I'm telling you. And I would just be driving, and then I'd see a sign, and what? Did that just say Panda bypass? Harderies is my favorite. Because arteries, the Hardee's. Harderies. I literally thought I saw the sign that said Harderies one time. I think it was a download from the throne room. I do believe. Chick-fil-A. Yeah, Chick-fil-A. That's one of my faves. That one I didn't make up. I stole that one. But, most of them came from moments of severe, and absolute unbridled revelation. Okay, next. So just know that. What about artificial sweeteners? I've taught entire classes on this topic. Here it is, boiled down, one slide. They go by dozens of names. Here are the ones you will recognize. Aspartame, NutraSweet, equal sweet and low saccharin. Sucralose, not to be confused with sucrose. They did that on purpose. Sucralose is a toxic neurotoxin, a poisonous neurotoxin. Sucrose is table sugar, okay? Acesulfame potassium will also be called acesulfame K because K is the periodic table symbol for potassium. So you will see these. There will be dozens and dozens of different names that artificial sweeteners live under that they're known as. But you'll always notice it in the title or on the thing, the package. It'll say low sugar, no sugar, or diet. Okay, Crystal Light is famous for it. Ice cream pops, gums. All of the Polar Ice and all the crazy Eclipse gums and stuff that I used to chew like crazy. Candy, anything that says that. Anything that says light, too. They are potent neurological poisons developed to kill you. We do not allow patients to consume them in any way. If I see people eating it, drinking it, if it's on their food log, we let them know, hey, you signed up for this. This is what we do not allow. It's right on the paperwork when they sign up. Remove artificial sweeteners and symptoms magically disappear. You don't have MS. You drink Diet Coke. You don't have numbness in the hands and feet, peripheral neuropathy. Guess what? You're chewing Eclipse gum. It goes away like that. I don't know how many people, dozens of people over the years, dozens. They thought they had chronic migraines and headaches, and no. You were eating some push-up pops. When you're watching Jerry Springer at night. That's what the problem was. Next. My kids are picky. Who made them that way is my question. Howard Moskowitz, a legend in the processed food industry, created the flavor of Dr. Pepper. We're going on a journey here. You'll get it. He determined the bliss point of the perfect sugar level. That means the amount of sugar that people love, but if you exceed it, they stop liking it, right? 45 years later, it's now in pasta sauce, cereals, yada, yada. They all have bliss points. Creating bliss points is exploiting human biology. Your food scientists in high office buildings and ivory towers at universities have figured out ways using what? Aborted fetal cells, figured out how to exploit your tongue. So you best wake up and figure this out so you stop financing your own funeral, right? Next. Food companies know that adding sweetness makes almost anything palatable and profitable, right? So the food giants are in your face. The drug dealers are hiding out. I mean, they're in your face every night when you turn on that idiot box devil vision in your living room, right? Drug dealers. I mean, shoot, I don't know. Nowadays they might deliver. I'm not sure. But stop paying immoral and corrupt corporations to poison you slowly. So my kids are picky. I tell people this story. Who raises your kids? Howard Moskowitz or you? Who buys the food? You or your kids? Who fixes the food? You or your kids? I could not tell you the number of people that come in here and they call and they say, hey, I want to bring my kid in. Nope, we start with you. What do you mean? I'm okay. I'm perfectly healthy. Oh, so your kid's sick, but you're perfectly healthy. That's not the way life works. Follow me? So we get you in here, we fix you. We fix you, that automatically fixes your grocery cart. We fix your grocery cart, that fixes your refrigerator. We fix your refrigerator, that fixes your oven. We fix your oven, we fix your kid. Boom. Right? Does that make sense? So I stopped treating kids years ago. You know how I treat kids now? Through the mother. Boom. Does that make sense? Much better use of time and your money rather than just throwing supplements at a kid that's going to, throw them in the end table and you're going to find it 6 months later, right? Next. It happens. From womb to tomb. The overall plan is for you to be on pharmaceuticals to cure the very thing chemical companies started by political manipulation. Understand it. Understand it. It's in the food supply because the politicians allowed it to be. Next. Well, my doctor can't figure out my blood sugar. It's out of control. Here's why. Blood sugar. Well, I should have put, hold on, food with an arrow leads to blood sugar, leads to higher insulin, leads to hemoglobin A1C. What is hemoglobin A1C? A clever way to get past you trying to trick your doctor with a normal blood lab by a fasting blood glucose number. Because diabetics got really tricky and they were like, well, I don't want the doctor to know. Or hold on, back up. Well, I don't want the doctor to know I was eating a lot of crap. So hemoglobin A1C goes back, 90 days, 3 months, 90 days. Your medical doctor knows about sugar. Why are you not told or taught this information? What are we checking for? What are we checking for? Are we checking for insulin? Now we're checking for blood sugar and we're checking for hemoglobin A1C. Isn't that crazy? Crazy, isn't it? So, any questions on any of this stuff? We're practically done. We just got a little, what's the solution? What is the solution to all this nonsense? I told you the problem, but yeah, we got to have the solution. So, testimonial time? Come on up. Oh, and then don't let me forget. We'll talk about this in a minute. On the board.
All right. This patient says, I was having severe panic attacks and anxiety. I spent most days in a dark room, curled up in my bed, practically lifeless and hopeless, as a 21-year-old who could be doing so much more. After learning how to eat at Divine Design, taking supplements given to me by Dr. Brett, and learning to trust my God-made body, I am back to a normal life that I really thought wasn't possible. Thank you so much, Divine Design Natural Health.
21 years old.
Yep.
21 years old. If I was a medical doctor, which I could have been, but didn't want to be, if I was a medical doctor and I had every drug, every surgery, every vaccine, every imaging center at my disposal, why would I not have tons of testimonials like that if what they do works? Next. There it is. I'll read it for you in the back. This is Kellogg's with GLAAD, G-L-A-A-D. Oh, that's the gay, lesbian, yeah. G-L-A-A-D. Love Together with Pride, heart-shaped cereal with Tony the Tiger cereal from Kellogg's. Too amazing to put into a box. He, him, she, her, they, them. Add your own pronouns. Boxes are for cereal, not people. That's what Kellogg's apparently is putting out. I believe it is. I've seen it in a lot of different places. I've not actually seen, has anybody seen this in the grocery store? I've seen these pictures all over the internet. I don't know. But I wouldn't be surprised. I wouldn't be at all surprised. But this is what people, I did this. I grew up eating this crap for I don't know, what, grade school, high school, college. That's what I ate, breakfast, every day. And if I didn't have that, I had French toast covered with brown sugar. And then I wondered why my teeth were falling out and why my skin sucked. That's right. That's it right there. I'll speak, I did the same thing. I had horrible allergies, had no idea why. Now I do. Next. Adding pharmaceutical drugs to a sick body to cure it is like adding poison to a polluted lake to clean it. But they will let you know with no uncertain terms that if something falls on you out of the sky, the only fix, it's not nutrition, it's not exercise, it's not vitamin D, it's not getting outside, it's stay in your house, don't talk to people, cover your mouth, wear a diaper on your face, don't breathe, and get a shot of stuff that we don't want to tell you is in it. Sounds good. That's the only solution. And people think we're nuts for questioning it? Go ahead, think I'm nuts. It's fine, right here. Take it. Next. There are the, 8 companies? 10 companies, whatever, that control your food supply. I should say control your processed food supply. Because when this Ukraine garbage started happening and everything started shutting down and, they started saying, oh, wheat and corn and soy and oats and all this stuff, rye and barley and all this. What were the plants, what were the crops that were going out of control? All the processed food. Were the vegetables going out of control? No. So by people coming here, you know what? You know how much money we're going to save you? And if the world goes to hell in a handbasket and everything hits the crapper, guess what? The processed food is the stuff that's going to disappear from the supermarkets first, because that's all people know. You can go there in the middle, halfway, 3 weeks into a pandemic, and they'll still be kale. That's what happened in the last pandemic, right? There's the 10 companies, but it's all processed food. If you eat the way I'm telling you, guess what? You're out of their system. I like that better. Next. There's something wrong with the food system when you have to pay extra for poison-free food. Yeah, next. CDC says heart disease and cancer claimed 3 times more lives than COVID-19 in 2021 and 2020. And people, can't wait to get my 4th booster. Or, hold on, back up. Can't wait to get my 4th booster. Chick-fil-A, Doritos, Krispy Kreme. And he probably got that from getting a shot. Free donuts. See what I mean? Free donuts, lottery tickets, whole 9 yards. Free fast food, just get your shot. See the pattern? Next. Oh, that's conspiracy. Yes, it is a conspiracy. It actually is. How to decrease your sugar intake? Super simple. Check this out. Cut your soft drinks and fruit juices. Well, I drink the ocean spray. Same stuff. Cut breads and pastas and noodles and donuts and all the other crap that we mentioned. Increase your fats and proteins. Buy organic foods, save money on highly processed and therefore expensive foods. You're going to save money when you eat healthy. It's not the other way around. They've lied to you too. Oh, eating organic is so expensive. No, it's cheaper because it takes money to process and refine and ship all of that food that's not going to die. They've deceived you. Next, avoid artificial sweeteners at all costs. So people say, well, that's just too hard. Well, don't do it overnight. Let us help you. Do a food log, and you'll understand. You'll start seeing how many Cokes you drank that day. You'll start seeing, God, I went through a case of Coke, Diet Coke this week. And then you say, okay, instead of a case, can we cut it down to 20 Diet Cokes this week? Yeah, I think we can do that. See, people think they have to go cold turkey. No. You don't quit anything or start anything cold turkey, right? It's easy when you do it in small steps. That's where we come in, because we've done this with tens of thousands of people at this point. We don't just cut it overnight. We just gently bring you down off of it. Now, here's the deal. We cut the bad stuff, little by little by little by little. Guess what we do with the good stuff? It's so simple. People just are all or nothing. They're like, I have to stop. No, you don't. People come in here all the time. I know you're going to tell me to quit smoking. No, I'm not. I'm going to tell you to change your cigarettes to something that's not going to kill you. Because just like with this, it's not the tobacco killing you, it's the chemicals killing you. That always blows people's mind. No, you don't have to stop. I just want you to smoke good stuff. Next. Changing your diet. Here's another take home. This is what, take home number 12? I forget. I lost count. But here's a big one. Changing your diet is by far the simplest and the cheapest, the most affordable healthcare strategy available to you. You will spend less on eating healthy than you will on a couple months of insurance premiums to have accessibility to services like drugs and surgery that you do not want. People will pay their entire lives for premiums, and then they'll go into a doctor, he'll give them a prescription, they'll throw the prescription out because they don't want to take the drugs. So why'd you have the premiums? I will save you tens of thousands of dollars. You just reminded me. Brittany, correct me if I got this wrong, but you had like HSA or an FSA or something. You had a bunch of money banked in your HSA or FSA. You had to spend it or it was going to go bye-bye, even though it was your money. Did you hear that? It was her money that she put in there. She had a certain amount of time to spend it. So what'd you do? You put it, I'm just going to say it because we don't have you've got a microphone. Give me a 99-cent version of how you flipped that script on the whole situation.
So the reason that there was a time window is because I was getting rid of my health insurance. And because I no longer had a need for health insurance, I was healthy. And anyways.
So what'd you do?
So what I did is I used the money from my HSA and bought various services. You can't get supplements, but you can get various services through Divine Design. And I pulled everything out, and I'm set for quite a while here.
Right. Two things to get out of that. She pulled all that money that was hers out of her HSA or FSA and put it here. So she's going here for years. I see her, once a month now? Something like that. But listen to the other thing she said. It was her money, right? Get this, you'll love this. It was her money, but you couldn't spend it on supplements. This is how they get you. This is how they trick you. They think you're too stupid to figure this out, right? It's your money. You put it there. but you gave it to somebody else, and they're going to tell you what you can do with it, just like they do with your premiums and deductibles and copays and coinsurance and prescription costs. They'll tell you what they're going to allow you to spend it on. That's the stupidity of this whole system. So when we get you out of there, everything gets better. Everything. Now, one thing, before we go to the final slide, people always ask me, show me those, or can you hand me those real quick? People always ask me, hey, can I do this and that? Can I do organic yada yada? And can I do organic this and that? Here is, I could. I just guess I haven't. I've ordered them. I just don't eat them. Organic whole grain hard red wheat. Now, this is from Standard Process. Royal Lee was also a genius. He developed a process of, I shouldn't say a process. He developed a mill that leaves all of the germ and the wheat and everything intact in the kernels. So what you can do is you can buy these from Standard Process, and then you can get your own mill, or you can just do them on your own. If you want to use Royal Lee's mill, you can. But organic whole grain hard red wheat, so this is like the baddest wheat there is out there that I know of. People always ask me, organic whole grain buckwheat groats, one of the buckwheat, very interesting thing. Royal Lee Organics, it's all organic, USDA certified, whole 9 yards. Organic whole grain buckwheat groats and organic whole grain einkorn wheat. So people are always saying, well, I replaced my bread with quinoa, or we got rid of the white potatoes, which is sugar, and we replaced it all with einkorn. Okay, check this out. 1/4 cup serving of the buckwheat is of the fats. And give me the number of the total number of grams. I'm sorry. So think about this. Total number of grams. Hit me with the, what's that say? I want you to get this number. This is good. Out of the buckwheat, there's 1.5 grams of fat, there's 32 grams of carb, there's 6 grams of protein. Total grams of the, right here.
45.
That was the red wheat?
Yes.
45 grams?
Yep.
Check this out. This is something you should be doing with everything that you're buying at the supermarket. Einkorn. 45. So remember, this is what you should be doing. They confuse you with the nutrition labels because they put the fats and the carbs and the protein in bold. There's 2 other things they put in bold: sodium and cholesterol. So you don't even think like, oh, these are the only 3 things I can digest, because you see the sodium number there because they made you afraid of salt, and you see the cholesterol number there because they made you afraid of cholesterol, right? But look at this. The buckwheat's 45 grams serving, 1/4 cup serving, 45 grams. What is the buckwheat mostly made of? Carbs. What is the einkorn mostly made of? Carbs. Hard red wheat. What's it mostly made of? Out of all of these, you've got about a 67% carbohydrate. So what does that do to your blood sugar? Raises it. I just figured out why your blood sugar is out of control. That's it right there. Protein, fat, carbohydrate. It's all carbohydrate. So if you want to lose weight, get healthy, get rid of your depression, this and that, one way to do it, start with your diet and decrease little by little by little by little your carbohydrates. It's super simple, and you'll lose a buttload of weight. It'll be great, literally a buttload. Final, how to decrease sugar intake? There you go. But advantages of this information, here it is. You are now aware that you're being lied to by numerous 3-letter unelected agencies. Next, you can take responsibility for what goes into your face. Next, in 2 to 4 weeks, your sugar cravings, I guarantee you, can disappear. Sugar cravings. Next, and in a couple of months, you can decrease your meds, you can lose weight, and you can have clearer skin. I don't decrease your meds, you do. If you want, you can go and have your doctor do it, but he's not going to do it willingly. He's going to do it begrudgingly, and he's going to yell at you about something stupid, right? Next, you'll spend less money on good vegetables and on processed chemicalized foods. Keep going, keep going. You don't need to count calories or grams and endlessly obsess over your weight, and you can train your kids to love vegetables and be healthy and independent. And they will not be a ward of the state eventually, right? So here, this is the last testimonial. And this is basically from somebody who doesn't even come here as a patient, through a friend, a mutual friend. They started watching these classes. Go ahead. They started watching these classes. They've never been here as a patient.
All right, so they said, although distance prevents us from being able to fully take advantage of divine design services, I have already benefited greatly by implementing everything you and or Dr. Spradlin is recommending via his teachings and your information and help regarding Young Living products. I have listened to 4 of Dr. Brett's Monday night sessions to date. Let me first say that everything he is teaching all makes sense for someone who is spiritually discerning and has any kind of critical thinking skills whatsoever. As we learn, we continue to purge what is necessary out of our home and what goes into our bodies. Although already my digestive system is operating so much better, my back pain is improved, and my toenails are beginning to look normal again. My appetite for the crap food, as Dr. Brett refers to it, is beginning to dissipate as well, which is huge for me. It is amazing that I haven't even seen the good doctor yet, and I am beginning to feel better as the Lord uses him as an instrument in his hands. Looking forward to continuing the journey to take better care of the Lord's temple, that I may better take care of others around me and glorify our Heavenly Father. And
Boom.
then there's a secondary
Oh,
part
jeez.
about it.
Oh, goodness.
So this is another one from the same person here. Says, we are listening to Dr. Brett teach on water on my phone while preparing our lunch. Just wanted to pass on to you how much I am learning from Dr. Brett. I absolutely love him. Straight shooter and fearless with what he is teaching. My kind of man. We will be ordering the water filter product he recommends ASAP. Our diet continues to move in the needed direction, and I'm already feeling significantly better. My arthritic back pain is now getting less and less, not even craving the foods and sweet crap. Praise the Lord. Huge for me. I have already switched out my old health and hygiene products for all natural, and my skin is immediately feeling better. He is the only holistic healthcare practitioner that has presented with Christ-centered reason and common sense his information to me in such a way that makes spiritual, political, and physical health sense all the way around. As we celebrate this day of new life in Christ, I feel like I am having a health spiritual awakening that is finally catching up to my spiritual conversion 38 years ago. The Lord allowing our paths to cross has not been by accident, and I'm so thankful for his grace to us. We have been the beneficiaries of this blessing for sure.
There we go. Just watching classes. Just somebody that lives in, North Carolina? Watching classes. Not even coming here. Just watching some classes and applying some of it. Got more value out of watching 4 classes than decades of being in the medical system taking drugs. That's the simplicity of it. Any questions? That's about it. Any questions before we close out? And then we'll talk and do tours and for new people and stuff like that if you want. Questions? Or anything you guys want to point out?
Jesus said, you will know the truth, and the truth will set you free.
Yes, you will know the truth, and the truth will set you free. But first, it might offend you a little bit, and it might make you a little bit upset. Jesus offended a lot of people. And one thing, too, that I kind of thought of halfway through this is the fact that, Paul always talked about in the New Testament, it said, the tongue is such a mighty force. It can turn ships around and the whole night. It's like a rudder, So many times people think that the tongue is just what you say or what you don't say or whatever. What gets people into more trouble? Their taste buds or their speech? Nowadays, it could apply. That statement is still true in the New Testament. Tongue gets you into a lot of trouble. But look at what kind of trouble it's getting us into now just because of the pride of life and the lust of the flesh and the taste and the senses and I have to have my bread. Oh, I have a problem with Dr. Pepper. Oh, I got to have sugar. Oh, I got to have sweet tea. I hear it so often, and it's so interesting because it's always coming from Christians. They're admitting, it's idolatry. I don't go right in their face with it, but it's true. They're admitting powerlessness over an addiction. Well, food, of all things. Food. It's fascinating to see it from such an angle where you explain stuff like this to people. It takes them still months to figure it out. It takes them, I don't know. They've been working on that handicap placard for years, and now they wear it like a badge of honor when they pull into the grocery store or the churches. There are more handicap spots at churches and healing ministry. Old healing ministries in this town, known healing ministries with handicapped spots, just lines of them, you know. Healing ministry, shouldn't you maybe not have handicap spots? Maybe, or not that many? But it's fascinating to me because I see the effects of the taste buds and the human reverse engineering of taste buds from food scientists. I see the effects of it every day. So I would just encourage all of you to like really take a handle, you know, take hold of this and wrestle it to the ground and knock it out of your life. Sugar is killing you and your friends and your family and your coworkers, and the churches, you know, are financing missionaries to go other places with bake sales, and it's all sugar. And the youth groups and the kids and the schools, it's Little Caesars and Mountain Dew. I mean, it was like that when I was in school. That was a while ago. So think about what's going on. You can make changes in your churches, your schools, everything you do, your daycares, you can make changes because other people are wanting to make them too, but they might just be a little bit afraid to stand up and say something. They don't want to rock the ship, rock the boat. Questions, thoughts, cries of outrage. What's in 2 weeks? You're so filthy. Name of the class. I wasn't saying that to you, Tracy. I have to explain myself. You're so filthy.
I showered today.
You know, I did. Yeah, your skin looks good. Your skin looks good. You look like you got a tan. But in 2 weeks, you're so filthy. What's that one about? Oh, you'll want to check this out. You'll want to see what is so. Why are people so filthy? You know, what does it mean? How do you unfilter yourself? This will talk about how to unfilter yourself. So in 2 weeks, that is, I forget the date. Let's give away some handout or some freebies here. I forget the date, but I'll sign off. So thank you, Dr. Brett Spradlin. We'll see you in 2 weeks for You're So Filthy. I forget the date, but we'll see you here, same time, different place, same time. We'll talk to you soon. Dr. Brett Spradlin, Divine Design, Natural Health. Questions? Anything in particular?